What's going on, everyone? It's Jed. Welcome to another Bitcoin update. Today is Sunday, and I know you guys are excited because as we approach the apex, we get closer to volatile action. And what does volatile action mean for us? It means great trades, taking profits, or even sometimes setting limits. So, per discussed in our last mastermind, I mentioned that Bitcoin would just end up finding accumulation around this region, which it is right now since our last mastermind, and that's what it's been doing. So yeah, that's what it's been doing. So in times where, we find Bitcoin falling down, in times where Bitcoin falls, 14%, there's a tendency where people tend to FOMO in, buy as soon as they can to buy the dump. But, when these things happened, what comes after distribution? Accumulation, right? So, sometimes you just have to be patient, let Bitcoin ride out, right? There are plenty of opportunities to accumulate, as you can see here in this daily accumulation zone. We are on the daily time frame, so we have this here, and we also have this uptrend as well. So we evolved the uptrend to this point here, right? We confirmed that it was entering accumulation. This was an entry point. And again, even this daily support is a great entry point, okay? This is accumulation in this local time frame. So now you guys are most likely wondering, what's going to happen next. Okay, so let's zoom out first, okay? Like I've been mentioning, this uptrend is really the only thing that's holding this whole structure here, okay? It's the same thing like this, right? Something that we saw here. Now we can see on a much larger scale. So, right, if Bitcoin loses this uptrend, it's going to fall. And personally, I don't think these untested levels on the daily time frame would be able to hold a drop if Bitcoin did break below this uptrend. Personally, I think it would end up just falling within this region, or worst case scenario, even here. So, and my reasoning is because you have this uptrend holding this, pretty much this whole structure here, right? That's literally the only thing that's holding it. And what do you see on the left side? Right? You see this daily uptrend here, right? And what did I mention about uptrends and downtrends, right? The same trend that brings it up or down, it's the same trend that'll bring it down or up, right? So in this case, if it loses the uptrend, right, which is the only thing that's supporting this move, and if it falls, the same trend that brought it up will most likely be the same trend that will bring it down. And, I'm hoping, although this is a tested level, I wouldn't be surprised if it does fall, it lands here, or again, even worst case scenario here. Because if you think about it, how much of a drop would that be from this apex? So another 20%. Yeah, that's reasonable. So it's very important. So that you set limits, right? You accumulate on supports, because when you accumulate on supports, you're decreasing your risk of losing money, right? It makes sense, right? So if you're buying, if you bought on this daily support and on this daily uptrend, if Bitcoin did end up hard breaking below and here, you setting your limits protects you, right, from losing 20%, right? If Bitcoin did fall down here, those are the benefits of setting a limit. Yes, you lost 1-2%, but a lot better than losing 20%. And that's the play you take, right? Because you're taking the chances of it moving out of this 4-hour apex, right, here, for a local pump. The only good side on this side is that, one, these are all tested levels. You see some blue levels here that are tested. They're dotted, so they're tested. You even have this daily, right, that's acting as resistance. That's also tested. So I'd expect Bitcoin to, move up locally out of this 4-hour apex. I don't expect any much crazy volatile movement from out of this 4-hour apex. I think this still just needs a bit of time. hopefully, what I'm thinking is, depending if Bitcoin can continue sort of this ladder here, right, on the smaller time frames, it could continue making a ladder on a smaller time frame that will allow Bitcoin to move up. Honestly, I think it would break above all these tested levels and, maybe reject within this region here. Personally, I think that would end up falling back here, and I'm hoping that, we would see a larger move out of this local apex, okay? Out of this daily apex. So that's what I'm currently thinking right now. This is the daily time frame, so this apex is ending, a couple days. So, my perspective can change in the next 1 or 2, 3 days. So that's why this week I'm going to keep you guys updated. And yeah, make sure we're accurate with this. Making sure we're taking proper trades, right? Don't let your emotions get in the way. You just stick with the TA. So again, yeah, that's my prediction. So if we go to the smaller time frame, like the 4 hour, because we see some blue lines there, we'll go to the 4 hour time frame, and here you can see. So this obviously looks like accumulation, right, on a 4 hour time frame, right? There's some candles that are hard closing below this red line here, but don't worry, that's a daily time frame. So we could expect that when we go into smaller time frame. So the good thing about this is that it's still respecting this uptrend. So locally, right, even on a macro scale, this is an uptrend, a daily uptrend. So on a macro scale, this is an uptrend. You go on a smaller time frame, it's in a local uptrend. So for my initial prediction, like I said, if Bitcoin can continue on this ladder, whether it even tests it here or even here, it's still locally an uptrend. That would give it the boost that it needs to move out of this 4 hour apex. And again, I don't expect to immediately break into the 40K range after this. I still think we're going to see a pump, but nothing insane. I think if it does break out of this 4 hour, I think it'll, again, retest some region here, but end up falling and hopefully again breaking out of this much larger apex on the daily, right, on the daily time frame, a larger time frame. Okay, so that's what I mean when you just have to be patient. And with accumulation, again, it gets boring. I get it, it gets boring. You're just waiting, you're buying, and there's no movement. There's a small percent of movement, but for if you're trading, swing trading, day trading, that's what you have to do. I mean, just for example, I mean, you have, like in this case scenario, right, you have this portion of accumulation where it's 5 days, and not as long as, let's see how long this is actually. Okay, so almost double, but here, 5 days of accumulation, yes, that's boring, but look what happens. It moves up, that's your reward for being patient. Even here, right, accumulation over here, 11 days. Even down here, this is much longer in this range here. This is like about 2 months of accumulation. And those are the times when it gets really boring and there's no movement at all besides sideways movement, is when you have to be considerate of your entries, buying on supports and setting limits. Okay. So yeah, I mean, really not much update since the last mastermind, honestly, because I mentioned that it would enter accumulation, find support in this range, and you just give it time, guys. And again, we have a 4 apex coming, so I personally think we're going to see some local movement, nothing crazy to 40K just yet. And just keep in mind that this daily uptrend is what's really just holding this whole structure of Bitcoin. So if it breaks, again, I'd expect a dramatic downfall. So with Bitcoin and accumulation, right? When we keep that into consideration, what can we expect for the altcoins, right? So when we go in the altcoin update, what can before you even watch the next video, what do you expect that the altcoins, are doing as well? I'll give you a few seconds. They're most likely in accumulation as well, right? Because again, Bitcoin controls the market, so the altcoins will follow, wherever Bitcoin goes. So if Bitcoin's moving sideways, there's a small, blimp here, but regardless, it's pretty much the same on all markets. I mean, you might have one-offs, but generally, I think you're gonna see the same when we go over it. So, yeah, it might be a repetitive update since the last update, but hey, it's good to know to keep this in mind. So, again, I'll keep you guys updated on Bitcoin, and I'll see you on the altcoin update. Take care, guys. Bye.